Hi, it's Danny. So, this is another episode of a defense of Game of Thrones. And again, while some criticism of this last season might be legit, I will do my best to play devil's advocate and defend some decisions that might not actually be as bad as some say. Here we go. This is the defense of Game of Thrones Season 8. So, this is a video by Jeremy Jahns. Let's check it out.
Alright, a lot of people have bitched a lot about this show this season.
A lot is an understatement for sure. All of my Twitter feed and YouTube feed have been filled with videos shitting on the new season.
Yeah, the writing this season had been weaker than others. The writing actually, everything after season 4 had been weaker. Like seasons 1 through 4 are like masterful. Anything after season 4, it's like fine and entertaining, but it's not seasons 1 through 4.
This is a fair point. I do agree that some aspects of the show has been worse. One of them is the writing. I especially noticed this the last season. This doesn't mean I find it bad by any means, but not as good as earlier seasons. And the same can go for this season. On the other hand, some people are complaining just to complain. Is it not logical that the intrigues and mind games between characters will be fewer as the show gets to its climax? I mean, at some point there's got to be more focus on the action rather than the characters. And I don't mean that the character development should just be thrown out the window, but a change of focus was always coming. Also, I do not disagree with Jeremy here. The writing have not been as good, and that includes the action as well. None of the battles have been as good as some of those in the earlier seasons.
First of all, before we get into it, we were told this was going to be a big battle. It's not a big battle, it's a massacre. Part of the problem.
Is it really a problem that it was a massacre though? I do agree that the massacre was perhaps not justified completely, but having a massacre in the end of this season could actually have been very fitting if written properly and not rushed through. So, the problem isn't that it's a massacre, the problem is that it's not executed in the right way.
The problem that's been building for a while is the fact that Tyrion's a moron now. Now he's like this supporting character that sometimes might be smart, other times Varys is smarter than him. Most obviously now he is. Really, I feel like Varys and Tyrion, like their roles should have been swapped.
I disagree. Tyrion and Varys, and Littlefinger before, was easily the smartest people on the show. I would not count Tyrion as clearly smarter than Varys though. Varys has sometimes been 1 or 2 steps ahead of Tyrion. At some points he has either helped Tyrion to come up with ideas or helped him evolve these ideas. Maybe it's just me, but I have seen Varys in some sense as a mentor to Tyrion. And don't get me wrong, they're both extremely clever, but I've always felt that Tyrion had become better thanks to Varys.
See, right now Varys is like,
Daenerys is not good for the realm.
Tyrion's like, I have to hope because hope against logic. That's how I've always operated.
Maybe the roles are like that because the stakes of Tyrion's decisions have become so much graver. The advice he comes up with may or may not affect the lives of thousands. No matter how smart you may or may not be, you will doubt yourself for sure if you know you might take the wrong decision. And that might just lead you to think with your heart instead with your brain.
But the role should have been reversed. It should have been Varys being like,
I feel like she's good for the realm. Everything I do is for the realm.
Tyrion should have been like, I've been around power-hungry people all my life, and she is it.
Varys have been jumping from side to side many times while Tyrion has been shown to think more about himself. Tyrion abandoning Dany by this point will do him no good no matter the outcome.
Jaime Lannister's, 7-season arc just came to a screeching halt because he was like, you know what? I don't want to grow anymore. I want to revert back and I'm going to crawl back to her arms.
I do agree that it felt a bit repetitive of him to once again go with Cersei, and the better option would have been him staying with Brienne. But let's think about this realistically. Dany is on her way to King's Landing to kill Cersei. No matter what Cersei has said or done, it is quite logical for Jaime to not approve of that. It's his sister, and it will always be his sister. Even Tyrion, who hates Cersei, is uncomfortable with the fact that his sister is going to get murdered. Blood is thicker than water is what I'm trying to say.
The point, King's Landing is ringing the bell and everyone's just like, alright, the fight's over, you've won. Daenerys is on her dragon like, I don't think so. I think we need to roast more people. She doesn't just go for Cersei Lannister, which she could have just done. She starts cooking all the civilians, just boom, just firebombing everybody. Not the queen who gave the order to cut her friend's head off, not the super zombie who swung the sword who cut her friend's head off, but just civilians, men, women, children, people trying to make a living, kids trying to play. Ash. There's a character turning heel, then there's that.
Okay, yes, her burning innocent civilians to death was not justified, but I do not think that it was completely unjustified either. Let's think about it this way. All of her mentors and advisors she trusted, Jorah and Missandei, are dead, while Grey Worm is revengeful. There is no one more to guide her. On top of that, the people in Westeros do not love her. Jon doesn't really love her anymore either, and she's not even the right successor to the throne anymore. Some think she believed her whole life. Basically, everything she's worked for is crumbling down, so obviously she is not in the right state of mind. Also, Dany has been showing signs of brutality before, but has been stopped by the people around her. But this was definitely a step too far, but a step that could have been more logical, with better writing and more time to make it feel justified.
Grey Worm? I liked Grey Worm. He just lost his girlfriend. No, he's just slaughtering people.
Yeah, this one I can buy though. Grey Worm just saw the only person he ever loved, and the only person who's ever probably loved him, be executed right in front of him. I do think he has reasons to go after Cersei's army, and he's not just slaughtering people from what I saw. I did not see him go after civilians, but please do correct me if I'm wrong.
But man, a lot of you saw this coming a mile away. I was like, maybe, but they're not gonna violate characters entirely. And that's how I see this went down.
I do not agree that they have violated characters completely. I can see what they're going for, but I do believe for some actions to be justified, they should have more episodes for this season, and probably another season as well. They have rushed through this without a doubt.
And as always, if you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click right here to see more.
This was not a bad video, unlike the last one I took a look at. I think the criticisms are valid. I'm just trying to see it from a new perspective that might give the show some fairness, and hopefully I succeeded with that. We still have one more episode to go, but until then, be safe.